Assalamualaikum. I'm Aziz Software Wali, and today I'm here with a new session on video editing software. And today we have explored video editing tools and creative techniques, useful features, and how editing software helps us create amazing videos. So let's get.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello Maya, today I'm doing great. First of all, today I'm talking to you video editing software. So are you ready for my conversation, Maya?
I'm always ready for a good dive into software. Since you've been tackling graphic design and those Microsoft Office shortcuts lately, this feels like the perfect next step. What do you want to jump into first?
So, Maya, can you please tell me what is editing, video editing software? How do we use video editing software?
At its simplest, it's a digital workbench where you take raw footage and mold it into a story. You know how in graphic design you layer elements on a canvas? Video editing is basically doing that, but with time. You arrange clips on a timeline, trim the boring parts, and layer in music or text to keep things moving. To actually use it, you'd start by importing your files, dragging them onto that timeline to set the sequence, and then using tools like the blade or cut tool to sharpen the flow before exporting the final version. Which part of that sounds most interesting to you?
Like best for me, CapCut for editing, and also Canva. So tell me, what are the basic features of video editing software and what is video trimming? Can you?
The basics are usually just the tools that give you control over the flow. You've got your timeline where everything lives in order, and then tools for transitions to smooth out the jumps between scenes, and effects to change the look or mood of a clip. Trimming is basically just your digital scissors. It's when you shave off the start or the end of a clip to get rid of the dead air or that awkward second before the action starts. What kind of videos are you planning to make with CapCut, and Canva?
Right, Maya. So can you please tell me what is video cutting and joining, and how can you add music to a video?
Cutting is a bit more drastic than trimming. Think of it as slicing a clip right down the middle. It lets you remove a whole chunk from the center of a scene or move a middle section to the start. Joining is just the act of snapping those separate pieces together to create one continuous sequence. As for the music, you'll usually see a separate audio track beneath your video timeline. You just import your song, drag it onto that track, and then you can slide it around to make sure the beat hits exactly when the scene changes.
Thank you so much, Maya, for your nice answer. So can you please tell me how do you adjust audio in a video, and how can you add text to a video?
You're welcome. Adjusting audio is mostly about playing with levels. You can lower the volume of a clip so your voice isn't drowned out by the background music, or use fading to make the sound glide in and out so it doesn't just stop abruptly. As for text, you just create a text layer on top of your video, type what you need, and pick your font and color. You can then drag the edges of that text clip on the timeline to decide exactly how long it stays on screen.
It's really great.
Still with me?
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. So Maya, can you please tell me what are video filters and what are video effects and use on video transactions?
Still with me? You asked about features, effects, and transitions, but I actually didn't finish that thought. What were you thinking about when you mentioned issues with transitions?
Now my next question is to you. What is the timeline in video editing, and how can you add images or to video?
But The timeline is really the heart of the whole operation. It's essentially a chronological map of your project. Imagine a long horizontal strip where the left side is the very first second of your video and the right side is the end. Every clip, image, and sound effect you use gets dropped onto this line. The magic happens with layering, where you can stack things on top of each other. For instance, your main footage goes on the bottom track, but you can drop a music track beneath that and a text or image track above it. This lets you decide exactly when something appears and disappears, giving you total control over the timing and the story's rhythm. Adding images works similarly. You just import your photo into the media library and drag it onto a track above your video. This creates what's called an overlay. Since images are static, you can just stretch the edge of the clip on the timeline to determine how many seconds it stays on screen. To make it feel less stiff, you can even add a slight zoom or a fade in effect so the image glides into view rather than just popping up. It's a great way to show a product or a reference photo while you're still talking in the background. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Maya, for your nice answer. So can you please tell me how can you add a voice over and what is slow motion editing and also fast motion editing?
Adding a voiceover is basically just giving your video a narrator. In CapCut, you can hit a record button right on the timeline and talk while the video plays, or you can import a pre-recorded audio file. The best part is you can adjust the volume of the original clip so your voiceover is the star and doesn't have to fight with the background noise. You can also trim the audio just like a video clip to make sure your words land exactly when they should. When it comes to speed, that's where you can really play with the energy of a scene. Slow motion editing, or slow-mo, happens when you stretch out a clip. By slowing down the frame rate, you turn a split second into a cinematic moment. It's perfect for when you want to highlight an emotion, beautiful landscape, or that one perfect shot where something epic happens. Now, fast motion is the total opposite. You're essentially condensing time. It's great for time lapses where you want to show a whole process in a few seconds, like a flower blooming or a city waking up. It adds a lot of energy and prevents the viewer from getting bored during the slower parts of a story. The trick to both is not to overdo it, since too much fast motion can be dizzying and too much slow motion can make a video feel like it's dragging.
So much, Maya, for your nice answer. So can you please tell me what is a video cropping and why is video resolution important? Can you please give me answer?
6 minutes is a lot for one answer. I'll keep it punchy, but let's dive in. Cropping is basically when you tell the software, I only want to keep this specific part of the frame. It's different from trimming, which changes the length. Cropping changes the view. You use it when something distracting is in the corner of your shot or when you want to zoom in on a detail to create a closer, more intimate feeling. For example, if you have a shot of a person, but there's a trash can in the background, you just crop that area out of the image and resolution. That's essentially the quality and detail of your video measured in pixels. We think of it like the dots that make up an image. That the higher the resolution, the sharper the picture. If you've seen 4K videos, that's just a pixels packed into the frame, making everything look crisp. If the resolution is too low, the video starts to look pixelated or blurry, which is a real mood killer when you're trying to make something look professional. The resolution you pick also usually dictates the aspect ratio, like whether your video is wide for YouTube or vertical for TikTok. The goal is to find the sweet spot where the video looks great, but doesn't take 10 years to export or use up all your storage space.
Okay, so Maya, can you please tell me what does HD mean and what is 4K videos and video rendering? Give me.
Camera assistant, not a cinematographer. But I've got you. 4K is basically the gold standard for high resolution right now. The 4 stands for roughly 4,000 pixels across the width of the screen, which is way more than the standard HD you usually see. It's the difference between seeing a picture and feeling like you could actually step inside the scene. The detail is just on another level. Now, rendering is where the actual magic happens. When you're editing, you're just moving pieces around a puzzle, but the software hasn't actually baked those changes into a single file yet. Rendering is the process where the computer does all the heavy lifting, calculating every single frame, every effect, and every audio layer to create a final video file you can actually share. It's the part that usually makes your laptop sound like it's about to take off into space. Does that clear things up?
Okay, so Maya, can you please tell me what does exporting a video mean and what is video file format?
Exporting is the finish line. It's basically the act of turning your project into a real video file that lives on your computer or phone instead of just inside the editing app. When you export, you're taking all those separate tracks, cuts, and effects you've been playing with and flattening them into a single piece of media. It's how you actually get your work out of the workshop and onto TikTok or YouTube. As for file formats, those are just different ways of packaging your video data. You'll most likely see MP4, which is the universal favorite because it keeps the file size small without killing the quality, so it works almost everywhere. Then there's MOV, which is Apple's version and is often used for higher quality professional work, though the files are usually much bulkier. Picking the right format is just about balancing how much space you have with how professional you want the final result to look.
Maya, for your nice answer. So can you please tell me what is the difference between MP4 and MOV? Give me answer.
Basically, it's a fight between convenience and quality. MP4 is like the universal language of video. It's designed to be compatible with almost everything, from an old Android phone to a smart fridge. It uses a compression method that keeps the file size small without making it look like a pixelated mess, which is why it's the go-to for social media uploads where you don't want to wait an hour for a clip to upload. MOV, on the other hand, is Apple's baby. It's a wrapper that can hold much higher quality uncompressed data. Professional editors love MOV because it doesn't lose detail when you keep editing it, but that comes with a price. The files are massive, and if you try to play one on a non-Apple device, it might just give you a blank screen. So if you're posting a quick tutorial for your audience, go MP4. If you're archiving a masterpiece for a portfolio, MOV is the way to go. What are you planning to do with these videos?
So Maya, can you please tell me why is audio quality important in video editing and how do color adjustments improve a video?
You're not kidding about audio. Bad sound is total vibe killer. You can have 4K visuals, but if the audio is scratchy or too quiet, people will just click away. It's the difference between feeling like you're actually there and feeling like you're listening through a tin can. Now, for color adjustments, that's where you really set the mood. By tweaking the saturation or the warmth, you can make a scene feel cold and lonely, or bright and energetic. It's like adding a professional polish that tells the viewer how they should feel before a single word is even spoken. Are you thinking about using any specific colors for your videos?
Okay, so ChatGPT tell me sorry, Maya tell me what is color grading and what is the brightness adjustment as a keyframe.
I've actually never heard of color grading. Do you think you might mean color grading? But brightness adjustment with keyframes? That's where the real control kicks in. You know how we talked about how a keyframe is basically a marker for a specific moment in time? When you use them for brightness, you aren't just making the whole clip brighter, you're making the brightness evolve as the video plays. Imagine a shot of someone walking out of a dark room into a sunny garden. You'd set one keyframe at the start for dark and another keyframe at the moment they hit the sunlight for bright. The software then automatically slides the brightness up between those 2 points so it feels natural and cinematic. It's the difference between a light switch being flipped and a dimmer switch slowly gliding up. It's a huge tool for creating a mood or just fixing a shot where the lighting changes halfway through.
So my last question is to you. Kindly give me advice to my audience.
The real trick to learning this stuff is just to start breaking things. To anyone watching, my best advice is to dive in and just start playing. Don't get bogged down in the technical terms like keyframes or resolution right away. Instead, just start cutting clips, adding weird effects, and seeing what happens. The best videos come from experimenting and making a few mistakes along the way. So just start creating, have fun with it, and don't be afraid to make a mess. If you've got this.
So much, Maya, for your nice advising. So, viewers, I'm ending this session. Thank you for joining us today's session on video editing software. I hope you learned something new about video editing and its amazing creative possibilities. And keep learning, keep creating, and keep turning your ideas into amazing videos. Seeing you next session. And thank you so much.